Okay, Chapter 18, Post-Purchase, Customer Satisfaction, Customer Commitment. We'll be talking about customer relationship management, or making sure customers get what they expect and stay happy and stay customers. There are different things that can happen depending on whether somebody complains, likes it. A lot of different things can happen, but you don't want them to switch brands or discontinue use. You want them to repeat the purchase and come back. So if somebody doesn't have an optimal experience, you want to deal with that as soon as it happens so you can try to resurrect them as a customer. This is called post-purchase dissonance. People go through when they've spent a lot of money, they can't go back on it, they might have signed a contract for years, it's hard to undo. Um, they might worry that maybe they didn't make the right choice, maybe one of the other ones, they were so close it was hard to decide, maybe they just didn't make the right choice. So people struggle with this, and that's why advertisers can send them confirming information and extra information to make them know that their product is a good product, to help calm them on this so that they're happier with their purchase. Also, there's consumption guilt, where people think something's great, but they're kind of feel guilty for using it. So you have to separate that from the guilt and give them permission to go ahead and use it. So you want to focus on the things that are going to make people get the best experience from your product, and dissociate your things that would give them a negative experience. Okay, product use. One of the best things you can do is try to come up with more and more ways to use your product to expand its customer base, its usage and applications, and that helps people buy more and buy more continually because they're using more of it all the time. You have to be very careful about what people can do. Some people will incorrectly use your product. They won't read the instructions. They just flat won't. So companies do research to try to identify applications that people have for products. They want to know all the crazy ways you can do it so they can make it idiot proof and make sure you can't hurt yourself and them get in trouble for it. Some products are just a bad fit. They don't really meet the customer's needs, and the customer really did in fact lose or waste money on the deal. You don't want to try to encourage people to buy things that don't exactly fit them. You want to have a liberal return policy with catalogs, as long as you don't make people feel trapped or feel that the advantage is all with the retailer. They're more willing to take the risk of purchasing through a catalog, and as long as they can send it back, they don't feel stuck. Creating packages. Okay, disposition. This is where some people care a whole lot about recycling. Some people are worried about creating waste that's toxic to the environment, and then some people just have things they kind of need to get rid of in order to get the next thing. Office Depot lets you return your used cartridges. I think they're paying $4 a piece for them now. I know we participate in that program at work. Durable goods. Most people sell a car when they buy a car. They sell a refrigerator when they buy a refrigerator. Sometimes you can keep the old one, but a lot of times people want to get rid of what they have. So a lot of companies now will carry off or purchase or do something with your old one. It's also useful generally to help the customer do that, because if the customer has to do it on their own, it just adds to the used product market and makes people delay their purchases even longer sometimes. So here's a big graph of all the different things that can happen to the product and happen to the package. The evaluation process of whether somebody likes something. They start off saying, people are very rational, they pick the best thing, but we know they are not rational. They have expectations that may or may not be rational. It depends on what you've cultivated in them. This is a chart that basically says you have to be equal or better than what people expect. If the product exceeds the expectation, they're going to be satisfied. If you create expectations that you simply can't fill, if you lie to people, you're absolutely setting yourself up for a negative satisfaction experience. They're going to be unhappy, and that's going to cause a lot more trouble than if you just told the truth. The best thing to do is create absolutely positive and correct expectations, ones you know you can fill or exceed. Okay, so now why would people switch? Well, the book assumes that everybody's going to be rational and always looking for the best deal. Some people probably are, but a lot of people aren't like that at all. They'll stay where they are until somebody messes them up, makes a mistake, makes them mad, and then they switch to somebody else. So if they have a bad experience in the store, maybe the guy that helped them forever isn't there and they don't like who was helping them. If the prices go up, the store moves, there's a lot of different things can make somebody unhappy, and that's what causes people to change. They have their system worked out, they're happy where they are, and something changes, and so they will switch suppliers. So as far as waiting times, now companies, they'll tell you they're going to give, have it done in 36 hours and it's done in 3, and then you're thrilled. Or they tell you 3 days and you get it in 1 and you're thrilled. So it's a lot better to pad your schedule and make an expectation that you can absolutely positively meet or beat, and then people are delighted, and it's a much better experience for them, and it's much better for your brand. So failure has a bigger effect than success. People remember when somebody does them bad. Dissatisfaction responses, different things you can do. You can either take action or take no action. You can complain to the store or to people outside the store. Stores want to make sure that you're going to talk to them first. They hope that you'll talk to them first, because there's a lot more word of mouth when people are complaining about things. So you have to create reasonable expectations. We've said that consistently. Maintain consistent quality. Consistently, you want to avoid twit storms. I love that phrase, twit storms. And now companies are going out and trying to encourage people to file their service tickets or online through social media. And if they see somebody complaining, they jump in and try to encourage them to let them help them. So that's turned out to where a lot of people just actually put their forms and their sign-ups for things online. I mean in social media online. Retaining customers. It's always a lot more economical to keep a customer than to have to replace a customer every time around. If you mess up every time and have to keep getting new customers, you're just going to run out of business. You're a lot better off to get them and keep them. So companies that do well at this basically build rubrics. They make sure their staff know exactly what's expected, what exactly to do. They train them to make sure that they always have positive interactions with their customers, so that every time a customer comes back, every experience is a positive experience, because it costs too much to lose a customer. So here's how you move people from the outside in. You want to get them committed. So brand loyalty, excellent. It means people are really satisfied. They're not going to do anything unless you mess up. And if you delight them and you give them extra points and extra bonuses and treat them great, they might say good things about you, give you good reviews, they might comment on blogs, they might spread a whole lot more positive news than you would expect. And also whatever they send to their friends gets syndicated to some of their friends, and you might talk to 10 people and it goes out to 1,000 people. Churn is your turnover in your customer base. It's not smart to have high churn. If you can eliminate the churn, you basically saved a huge number of customers who were fleeing your doors. Smart to have low churn. There's a story about Sprint improving theirs. This is attitudinal. If you're going to tell things to your friends, try to influence them. The cost of a customer, when you first get a customer, you have to pay money to do that, and then you have to actually get them going and get them to build up and buy more, and they may not be profitable for a couple of years. You want to keep a customer because their profitability increases. Your best customer is your most profitable customer. So the discussion here is about having tiers of service to accommodate different levels of customers. The ones who are the most valuable to you, you'll spend the most time and money servicing. Some people really cost you money to deal with, and you probably would need to fire them at some point, not encourage them to renew, and try to find ways where you can hook them up with somebody else who can do a better job with them. It's obviously important the very first time you do business with somebody, they have an excellent experience, because if they don't, they won't be a customer. Once they become a customer and you've met or exceeded their expectations, they are in your relationship marketing cycle. You're trying to hang on to them, anticipate what they want, do things to make them happy, give them extra values, reward them for being a customer, appreciate them for being a customer, and understand them at the individual level. So a lot of people do customer loyalty programs. I bet we all have tons of those little punch cards and things. You get points on your hotel, you get points on your credit cards. There's lots of different ways that you can be rewarded for things. I use a Dillon's card that I charge up. I put cash in when I hit the store. I buy with that card because we get points for the kids' soccer team. So anyway, the whole point is make sure you tell the truth, consistently meet or exceed customer expectations, and make sure your focus is always on the customer, and the customer always knows this. Again, be sure and read the learning objectives, and that's the end of chapter 18.